to our work session. The first item on the agenda is board appointments. Those actually appear on our voting consent agenda tonight. It's my understanding that both Terry Smiley and Rodney Fondy will be here. Both of these are PD's nominations again on the agenda tonight. Any questions or comments as to item 1, board appointments? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item 2, which is pretty routine and self-explanatory cash reimbursements to city officials for expenses incurred. That appears in Dropbox. Item 2, any issue there? Okay, 3, public nuisances. This is just on the work session agenda. We will not be voting on these addresses tonight. For the benefit of those watching online, I will read out these addresses. 10 Blue Mountain, 123 MacArthur Drive, 1910 Harris Avenue, 1914 Harris Avenue. I think Hannah's here. Any questions or comments as to item 3? You got anything down for that? Okay. Moving right along then, item 4 is surplusing of equipment. Fraser Burroughs is here with us. With respect to this, I believe this is part equipment that will be sold to National Guard. It's on the consent agenda, voting agenda tonight.
Yes, sir. What we have done is come that time when we actually trading out the equipment. We do it every 4 years. And the equipment that we has in place was buyout, the dollar buyout. So instead of selling it back to them, we're actually going to the National Guard to use it. So we sell the National Guard for $6,500. And also the police department got a portion of it as well as the senior center.
Oh, very good. Good use of that equipment then. Any issues then as to item 4? Appreciate that, Mr. Folks. All right, moving on then, item 5. This is on the consent agenda. Again, tonight we'll actually have a hearing on this license application. Well, actually, I'll turn it over to you in a second, Mr. Folks, about new procedures, but the application for Fat Boys Pizza and Wings is on the agenda tonight. Any issues with that? All right, then, Mr. Folks, if I can turn it over to you as with respect to the new procedures.
Yes, sir. After we researched this a little bit, and that is not the opportunity to observe this a few times. What happens when they make an alcohol application? There's quite a few departments they have to go through. They have to go through police, they have to go through inspection, they have to go through finance. And what happens sometimes that owner, when he comes in, there's so many things, red tape that has to be, the advertising has to be done. So we're bringing someone in and we're having to come to 2 meetings, and it's kind of inconvenient, and then sometimes all the paperwork is not put together. So what I'm requesting the council to do is that allow us to, when we have an alcohol situation, we actually put it on the agenda, the work session agenda, and the voting agenda the same date. That way that gives us enough time. Everybody got all the paperwork together. The person, the business owner has to come before council one time, and we ensure that everything is there that needs to be there. We're not inconveniencing anybody, the business owner doesn't have to worry about anything. We are making sure all T's have been crossed and all I's have been dotted. That's what I'm asking the council, just for that purpose. Make sense?
That sounds like a really good idea to streamline and benefit the public. Will the ordinance need to be changed in any way, or is it?
I don't believe so. I don't think that needs to be the same. So okay. I think that's a requirement.
So,
we actually put it on.
just a question.
Yes,
So
sir.
that should be.
Is that something from, I guess, from the previous members' experience, is that something that we should be able to streamline and be faster? I mean,
Yes,
I
sir.
think so, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah, 'cause we want to make
unless
things
there's
easy.
something egregious in a police report or something, like that, we've always approved the alcohol license as long as it's
Okay, so since
in
we brought that up,
proper order, so.
if there is something egregious, what would be,
It'll be wrong from council. Nothing will not be done with it.
Yeah, there's always a police,
No.
review in there that says that, there's a recommendation for the police that says that either I find reason or I find no reason.
I guess what I'm saying is, if that exception occurs,
If a red,
how would we handle that?
if a red flag comes up, you'll know about it. That's what I'm saying. Before a red
What I'm saying,
flag.
one of the red flags found in the meeting, in the work session, then we have an opportunity.
You can always
Push it out.
pull it off the agenda, yes, you can always always make a motion to pull it off the agenda if it needs to. The other thing we've done in the past is if we have somebody that is maybe borderline that's asking for it, or had some history or things like that, we've done them provisionally with like 6 months, kind of trial thing, and we've done some of that kind of stuff too, so that we get a chance to revisit it. If any problems occur, we can pull it. And we've had a couple of those, I think in the PJ, that we've done that way. I don't think any within the city limits, but I think a couple of PJ maybe. Am I right? Okay.
Yes.
Chief? Sorry.
Hey, and this is really for the benefit of the applicant.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah.
just to streamline for them. But no, I mean, you're right. If there is we still vote it up and down, but if there is an issue, like you said, yeah, we can take care of that at that meeting.
Because what I don't want to happen is somebody thinking, if we tell somebody something and there's exceptions, a lot of times we only hear what we want to hear, and we're gonna go with it. And then the next thing you know, Sierra will be, denying people business license because of whatever. Just try to answer it.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I hear you. All right, any other issues with respect to item 5? Okay, item 6 is the bid for natural history re-roofing. Alan is here. Mr. Folks?
I think I'm gonna let the architect deal with it, but the stuff like this, because we concur with his recommendation.
Okay.
But it was a little more used, so I'll let him explain where we are.
Yes, sir.
Bill, if you don't mind.
I'm Bill Whitaker for the new council folks. We haven't met because conditions are that I can't come shake hands and introduce myself. But I've done some work with the city and appreciate another opportunity to serve and what I think is another successful project. We took bids. I believe I wrote a letter that might be in your packet, but we took bids on January 14th. The projected project budget was $500,000. And we came under budget at 400, my recommendation is to take the 483,000 apparent low bidder, to be under the 500,000 project budget. I think we got, under the current market conditions, I think we got a good company that bid, and we feel like, we got a good price for what we asked for. We even bumped up the wind rating to 120 miles an hour for that roof. So we're getting kind of a good high tier, good quality, long-lasting roof system to re-roof the Madison Museum. So I'm glad to answer any questions about particulars, but currently my recommendation is to accept the bid and award.
And also, this includes all the alternatives.
Yeah, that includes all the alternates we had in there, which was we asked for a 5-year GC warranty instead of a 1 year, and we are going to raise the roof curves and repair some of those roof curves that are up there for the mechanical units. So again, we got a lot for that budget.
Any questions or comments?
Well, in the past, we had some complaints about the cost of the roof, but what people don't really realize is the value of these exhibits that would imperil and not having an adequate, roof. I mean, if they become damaged, it's unbelievable what a loss that would be. So I appreciate all your work on it, you too.
Thank you. All right, thank you, sir. Okay, next item will be project evaluations for sidewalks at Greenbrier and 10th, and then project at Greenbrier and City Trail. Folks?
As far as the sidewalks, if you all recall, we had, through the bond, we had, 2 projects, one on 10th Street, as well as one in Golden Springs. After I had the, Public Works, as well as engineer do some evaluation, and really, once we talked about the engineer work and actually the concept of the, sidewalks that we put in, you only have enough to do one project. And that's coming at about $255,000. And after talking with Councilman Jenkins and actually looking at this, and we're asking, and he was in concurrence that we actually do the Golden Spring project for $255,000 and get the sidewalk sidewalks in the Golden Spring. Councilman Jenkins, do you have anything you?
Yeah, I appreciate, first, Mr. Post reaching out to me and kind of explaining the situation. As you know, these were, budget amendments that I placed, in our current budget, and the idea behind the sidewalk on 10th Street was to make it easier. You know, we have one that stops, and it was to try to connect sidewalk all the way to 10th Street School. We don't have a lot of kids that walk to school down that road right now. It would be a nice thing to have ultimately, but it's kind of in my mind, almost a luxury piece as opposed to a necessary piece. We don't have a lot of foot traffic on 10th Street because the vehicle traffic is so heavy there. Conversely, Gold Springs, that road right there gets traveled a lot by pedestrian and cycling both. It's a very narrow road. It's a project we've been looking at for, 5 years at least, Millie?
It's been longer than that because when Councilman Dunn, you know, was on the council, he was trying very hard to get that done. And it was not, they weren't able to. So it's been probably since 2011, so it's been, or 2010, it's been a long time in the making.
We also have an individual that rides electric scooter. I see him regularly on that road, and he's actually not using that road. He's using Henry Road or Golden Springs Road right now, and he's riding in the turning lane to try to get to the grocery store and to the pharmacy, and that's just not. It's a dangerous situation. This was an opportunity to kind of solve some of those issues. That was the intent of the budget anyway. So again, I kind of saw 10th Street as something that I still want us to see done, and I'll work to find money in next year's budget to accomplish that goal. But I think that the Greenbrier project's probably been looked at for longer and frankly is a little more critical in its need. So I concur with this.
I appreciate that, Councilman Jenkins, and we do have people who really, we want to have a walkable community, and they need to go to the drugstore, they need to go to the grocery store, and they have to walk oftentimes, and it's very, very dangerous. And so I really appreciate your taking this as seriously as you are. Thank you so much.
Anything else on the sidewalks? All right, I know we're gonna try.
Yes, sir. If you got, you do a fact sheet in there, keep in mind, previous council asked, directed us to actually have this done. And if you look at the fact sheet, what we got back from the research, you can find out they're not recommending the light there, and what our staff recommended, we will follow what they have put in place, let's take a look at the fact sheet. But the light has not been recommended to be put there, so we will do all the other alternatives, the safety alternatives they asked us to do. Staff will make sure that's done, and we'll continue to monitor.
Any council comments or questions as either as the study or the conclusion itself?
So will we ever look at any other alternatives coming out of that area from right there? I mean, is there anything else feasible? I mean, I know read through the thing and just take 9 seconds to get out to really target the traffic. I guess for the is it possible to create another road somewhere exiting onto one of those side roads, onto the road that we got there?
Do I like Eagle Pass or something?
Is that even pass down there?
Quantum.
Just if you're going west over the hill.
If you go west over the hill, you get somebody that owns a
Oh,
lot.
I'm sorry,
East.
Yeah.
Timaquana
as to item 7. Okay, let's move on then to item 8, assistance to firefighter grant application. Chief Walter is here. The resolution will actually be voting on tonight on the consent agenda. There's an explanation attached to it in Dropbox. If awarded, it'd be a roughly $85,000 grant with 42 and change local match. Chief,
You don't have to, it's because he will research this and it's something that's very imperative in the whole communication.
Sure, what this is for portable radios and mobile radios that are in our trucks. The current models we use are 25 years old. End of life, you can't get parts anymore, so basically they're end of service. But this is the best and easiest way for us to incur the cost of the radios, because we can't afford $427,000 for the radios. But we can come up with that matching or it would award the grant. And it's a very good use of the grant.
And we researched this and the match that comes from the fire tax and it
Yeah,
has an amount.
and the match is roughly, it's roughly $38,000. I actually went in and filled out the application, and it tells me on the spot how much the match is, so it dropped from the 42 to 38.
okay.
So we'll find this in the fire tax.
Very good. Thank you, Chief. Any questions or comments? And again, that's on the consent agenda tonight. Okay, the last two items, first is essentially a continuation of our last work session, leaf and brush collection. You just want to give us an update on that?
Yes, all council members have provided the draft, and what we'd like to do is just take a look at that draft, make comments on it, and then get it back to staff, and then we'll take the comments and try to have something at the next council meeting with everybody's input in it. Staff input has been placed there, but we want to get the council's input, and then we'll continue to work on this document.
Okay.
Yes.
So council will continue to go through that and make any suggestions, comments. Okay.
It'd be appreciative if any comments you make, if you do it in red, that'd be very helpful.
Very good. Okay, the last item on the work session agenda tonight is an update on the comprehensive plan. Toby's here. Sam Welch, the chairman of the planning commission, is here as well. This is something that is incredibly important for us going forward. You know, we absolutely have to have a comprehensive plan in place. One, because of the law requirement. When you have a planning commission, then state statute actually mandates that planning commission recommend a comprehensive plan that ultimately, go to the council. But this will help, I believe, in numerous respects, particularly with respect to economic development. This has been a long time in the making, and I'm glad that the stars are lining up essentially so that, I believe we're going to be able to get this done. And it is going to take some work. I appreciate all the work the staff has already done on this, council members have done on this, and Toby's been working on. So I say that just to preface that as far as how important this really is. And folks, I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, sir. What I would like to say, first of all, before I say anything else, is that the planning commission as well as staff and this club need to be commended. Because even with the code restrictions we've had, they have actually went through the process of selecting a consultant that is great for the city. And I think they've done a great job. So I want to allow them out. You've been provided update from Toby, but I was going to allow Ann and Toby the opportunity to actually let you know where they are, because we're right now in their own, and I gave them timelines, and then it's not even with respect to they're there. So they're actually there, and I think in the second meeting of the council, we'll have something that will be recommended. So Ms. Welch and Toby, if y'all.
And thank you, Mr. Fogg. So let me just quickly say, and then I want to intro and turn it over to Ms. Welch, the chairman of the subcommittee for the selection team of the planning commission, and also the chair of the planning commission. Mayor, just to reinforce and add to your comments, they did an exceptional job. This was a very detailed process, and I was proud to be there to help and guide them with technical assistance and work with them through this process. But I want to do it its justice and give Ms. Welch her credit, her leadership on this, and let her speak to you briefly about the process, and I'll fill in any holes that you need me to fill in, so you can speak to that. Thank you.
Can I speak to you, or I just-
What ready for break.
Okay.
Folks would probably be able to hear you better watching online.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me? I want to thank Mr. Folks and Toby for facilitating this and helping us arrange and coordinate this. We took this very seriously. We've been working on it for a couple of months now, and what we did was review 8 proposals. There were 6 that met our criteria and we thought were worth looking at. And our 4 people from the planning commission, our little committee was made up of all planning commissioners, and that was David Christian, Sarang Salasi, and Sharon Dunson, and myself. And so we talked and reviewed, and we decided for everyone to submit their questions that they wanted to ask. They felt like it would be important to get the information we needed. And we did. All 4 of us submitted questions, and we sent them to Toby, and Toby selected 4 questions. So each of us asked 1 question each. Every group was asked the same questions. So we wanted a process where we were trying to make it as equal and inclusive, and not so we could sort of compare apples to apples, So we were pleased with how that turned out, and we selected 1 group to present to the council, and I think that proposal is available. I don't know if everyone's gotten it in their email or not, Mr. Folks, but that proposal that we reviewed is for the Walker Collaborative. Okay, if you don't have it, it is available to you. So, do you have any questions? I don't know what
And I am preparing a separate packet for you that's got the credentials, the same packet that we share with the planning commission at its meeting, whether it's virtual or live next Thursday, a week from Thursday. And then it'll be presented to you as well, and then a breakdown, which in addition to the white paper that you've received already, a breakdown of comments about the interview process.
And has the CAPSO training changed any, I guess, because of COVID? What do we need to do with that?
It has. It's as a matter of fact, I talked to them right before Christmas probably, and they're scheduling some meetings for this year, but they're all going to be online Zoom type meetings. So they're trying to, plan a new method of how they're going to go about it, because obviously, can't meet in person.
Right.
But
Because I
I'll
might
touch
like to
base.
go back to the beginning and start again.
Mhm.
They're going to do that.
Well, I'm sure that would be fine, and I'll get in touch with her again and get a date and see if she's got some dates scheduled,
Okay.
And I was gonna say, I appreciate everyone that everyone, Mr. Folks and Toby and the council, and everyone, in Mayor especially, all being on the same page about this. I really think that this is what we need going forward, and I'm just thrilled to be here to do the work, and the planning commission as a whole is totally behind doing this plan, and this recommendation will be presented to the planning commission on the 11th, next week, for those that weren't involved in this process to review. And so that will be an official recommendation that comes from them.
I'm sorry, but I apologize if I missed something, but so you all have come to a conclusion as to which firm?
Yes, we've decided who we want to recommend.
Okay, is that
to-
all? I didn't see it here. I'm
You
sorry.
said it was a Walker Collaborative?
The Walker Collaborative, and I think Toby's gonna get that package to you, that what you
Yeah,
said.
this all just wrapped up yesterday.
Right, it's just the very last minute, and, so we've still got a few T's crossed and I's to dot, but, and like next week, it will be presented to the planning commission as a whole, and,
So we look at maybe the first.
I'm looking at the second council meeting that we,
Second in March.
the first one in.
The first meeting in.
First meeting in March, I think.
Well, I want to commend Ms. Welch for all that she has done to keep pushing and pushing and pushing us forward. And all of us, or several of us, received training, to really understand the critical nature of what we're talking about here. This is more critical than one city, one vision. I mean, it is just, if you look on the website of all the progressive cities in Alabama, every one of them have a comprehensive plan. It is much more than just a strategic plan. And I think we've been, in the past, we really needed to be educated, and you have pushed us to do that, and I appreciate that very much.
Well,
I really do.
And I appreciate everyone willing to be educated about it,
Right.
because, several years ago, I was unaware. It was just a process of research and discovering what we needed to do, and I just think this is going to be, as one of our questions that we ask is, will this be a game changer for our city? And I think it will be a game changer for our city. I really do. So,
And I understand it's driven by the planning commission,
yes,
but I want to make myself available to help in any way that I can. Please call me if there's anything I can do to help, because I really want to help.
okay, good. That's great. And I'll be talking more with Mr. Folks about that little committee going forward. And so, are there any questions?
About the process or comprehensive plans in general.
Yeah, anything. And the education too. It's available to our new members. I've been fortunate enough to sit down and visit with our two new council members, and we're very excited about their enthusiasm.
I mean, all I can say is I'm super grateful that we're finally getting to a point where we're gonna see this through. Not only is it needed, but it's mandatory. And I think in order for us to see progression in the city, we have to have an actual vision and plan that we can bring forth. So I'm super excited to hear the proposal at the first meeting in March and see where it goes. So thank you, Ms. Walker.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I too, Ms. Butch, if there's anything I can do, I'm more than willing to help out in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Thank you for everything that you all, you two told me.
Well, I believe you're on the planning commission.
Yeah.
I would echo comments of the others. If there's anything you feel like I can avail myself to assist you with, I'm at your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, Ms. Welch, you got anything else?
The only thing I can have before you, the packet that I have, that's the briefing that I did with NDA, and I wanted to share with you what I shared with the NDA, and I promised them every quarter, I will actually visit back and give them updates so we can actually continue to share communication, so there's no broken communication, but I want to share with you some good information on some of the projects that are ongoing at the public. Very proud of, hard, doing a lot out there, and I think a lot of my projects, one of the things that we're trying to do was projects that you all have put in place in our budget, we're going to follow up and we're going to bring the project to the commission. And we'll get, update you periodically, let you know where they are. So that will happen, and you'll get constant updates. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.